Hey there, nerds. We're back. Back to you with another episode. This is Alpha Nerd 17. I am joined here by my wonderful co-host. He doesn't need a nickname. He's the fucking man. He is Seth Slyhouse. How we doing, buddy?
Dude, I'm doing fantastic tonight. I feel good. I took a real solid 4 hour nap earlier.
Yeah.
Just went down for a nap, and
Yeah.
now I'm back.
Yeah,
And I feel great.
that's what I did before the show. And then was waiting for my food to get here. But yeah, definitely hitting the power nap right after work is always the move for me. I've noticed I'm a
Oh,
big
it's
big
key.
big power nap guy.
It's key. Now, see, here's the issue you run into though at some point sometimes is that if you power nap too hard, you won't sleep good that night, and you just then you're all screwed up.
Yeah, then you fuck
That's
up
no
your
good.
sleep schedule, then you hate yourself, and then you're
Yeah.
up to the wee hours of the morning contemplating your life choices. It's not a good scene.
Because I don't know about you, but I run into this issue where if I don't fall asleep like immediately, then I start panicking about sleeping, and then I will just go into an endless cycle, and I'll never sleep. I won't fall asleep until like
Mm.
1, 2 o'clock.
Have you
That's
considered
terrible.
popping the old melatonin?
I used to do that, and then I heard that it is apparently really really bad for you to do that. Like it's apparently awful. Um, it's like taking uh testosterone or
Oh,
something like that. Like it's like really bad for you.
just getting on the
Yeah.
sauce. A good old test. But
Well, because it is it's a hormone. Melatonin is a
yes,
straight hormone.
correct.
So like yeah, it's like taking testosterone or something.
I mean,
It's really
I've
bad for
never
your
seen anyone who's
endocrine
had
system.
a bad reaction to testosterone. I feel like it just gets you bigger muscles and things.
Famously, Bob from Fight Club grew tits. Bob with the tits.
And they were supple.
His name was Robert Paulson.
Yes. So, what you been up to, my guy? So let's get into the games. What have you been doing?
Man, like I've been I just as you know, I recently moved into a new house. I bought my own house last month. So a lot of my time's been taken up just moving in and unpacking and setting up this massive action figure display. You saw behind
Yeah,
me,
it's coming along beautifully.
and thank you. I'll tell you what, getting a new action figure or like a collectible and setting it up is a fun experience, right? Doing 200 of them is not a fun
Probably not.
experience.
No, you probably hate yourself a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, my a lot of my time's been dedicated to setting this up and putting things up through the house. As you know, I got the housewarming party this weekend.
I'm
We got a lot
excited
of
for
people
that.
coming to that. Yeah, I'm excited for it too. I think it's a small little house, but I think people are going to be impressed with what we've done with it. Um, but I did get a chance since the last episode to get some gaming in. Specifically, I beat episode of Bardock, the Kakarot DLC.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and I was like, man, you know what? Like, I'm in a Dragon Ball mood. I'm gonna get that episode of Bardock and play it. And you know what? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I really like Kakarot. I think we talked about this last
Yeah,
episode, but I really like Kakarot. I think it's a great adaptation of Dragon Ball, and there's enough extra content that you can just kind of go through and if like you said you have an issue with how it retells the same story over and over again, right?
yeah,
You can just skip the cutscenes. I mean, if like it's really not that big of a deal. The combat's really fun. It's not super fighting game heavy. It's more action RPG type, I would say. For instance, you can just overpower yourself and then spam Kamehamehas over and over and over again. It's not something that like if that was a fighting game, you'd get punished. You get absolutely obliterated. So it's I like I said, I really like Kakarot and the Broly the Bardock DLC episode. Bardock takes place um in the really famous it's called an OVA. Really, it's a Dragon Ball movie called Episode of Bardock, where it goes over Goku's dad and the last days of Planet Vegeta. And it's really cool because they added in some extra side missions and stuff like that you can go through and just have fun for maybe 4 or 5 hours. It's really good. And then I didn't know this. There's actually another side story after you beat that, where you play as young Prince Vegeta
Oh,
in the
really?
last days. Yeah, it's
That's
really
pretty cool.
cool. It's really cool as him as a kid. So I think that's really cool that they added that in there. Um, really looking forward to the next DLC for Kakarot, which is the 23rd Budokai Tenkaichi.
Oh.
The last, um, it's the last tournament at the end of the original Dragon Ball series. Yeah, it's the 23rd. I can't believe I got that number right. I'm the number one Dragon Ball fan.
I
Um,
didn't know there was a
so
23rd Tenkaichi tournament.
yeah, so the first one in the series I think is the 21st, and that's when um yeah, the 21st is the one where Master Roshi dresses up as Jackie Chun.
Whoops, excuse me. Yeah, I remember that.
And yeah, and that one's pretty sweet. And then there's the 22nd, which
That where he
is
fights
where they
Piccolo.
meet. Nah, that's when they fight Tien.
I
That's when they
forgot
fight
he fight like
Tien.
Tien was like a fucking villain, not a
Yeah,
villain, but like an
Tien.
anti-hero in Dragon
Well, no,
Ball.
well, yeah, they originally started as a villain. Like Tien straight up tried to kill Master Roshi. He like definitely tried to kill him. And then the 23rd is the last episodes of Dragon Ball where uh Goku gets the hole blown in his chest, and you find out he can fly and stuff like that. It's really really great tournament, but I'm excited for that because it should take place during the tournament, and it's giving me flashbacks to Budokai 3 in like the world tournament stage. That's where
Yeah.
shit happened. That's where things went down. Like you got beef, you booted up Budokai 3, you picked your characters and you settled it on the Budokai Tenkaichi stage. It's the only stage that had the ring outs.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the ring outs.
Mm-hmm.
Was never a big Budokai guy though. I was never a fan of those games. I always felt
Really,
like they played a little clunky for me. But like
I can see that.
that might have been just because like I was used to like just 2D fighters, a straight Street Fighter, and Mortal
Mm-hmm.
Kombat, or even a little Fatal Fury. But yeah, just when the Budokai games came out, like too much shit was going on for me, like all these fucking energy attacks and all this other nonsense. But
I can see Budokai being a hard transition
oh,
from
dude, it was
something like
brutal.
Street Fighter for you
Yeah.
because they punch and kick really slow in the
Hmm.
Budokai games, and there's no canceling. So
And
it's
I just remember what Raditz's move, like he had the explosive Sunday or some dumbass move. He kept
double double Sunday.
Yeah, like and like people just spam the same moves over and over and like because they only had a certain combo set, and then
Mm-hmm.
like I have so many bad memories of Budokai. I'm really like I want to like this game, I do, but like it's making it really hard. The only Dragon
Yeah,
Ball
I
game
don't
I've ever liked
think.
was Fighter Z, the 2D one.
Oh, dude, I actually there's something about that game that I just can't get into. Maybe it's just because it's a fighting game, but I've liked fighting games in the past. But fighters, I booted that up right alongside the same time I was playing Kakarot because I was like, oh, I can jump into this and finally beat it and see what the story's about because people apparently love the story in fighters, but I'm just playing it. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. And I have all the DLC and everything for it.
Oh
I
god,
don't know.
he's taking an L there.
Yeah, so I played fighters, and then last night I booted up Hogwarts Legacy. Been waiting for that for a long time. Had that bad boy preloaded and ready to go. Are you playing it? Have you played
I
it,
don't
or are
have it
you
yet. I'm gonna
planning on
get it
playing it?
at some point when it's probably on
It's good,
sale.
man. It's really good. The number one thing they did right was they got the exploration in the castle down. Dude, the castle's massive. You can
That's
go in
awesome.
almost any door, and the detail is like phenomenal. You got ghosts walking around, and um, the large amount of school kids are just around talking, having conversations and stuff like that. You're going to classes, and it feels like what it reminds me of Bully from PS2,
Ooh,
where you're just
okay.
exploring the school grounds. And obviously, it's much more grand and large, but it gives me that same type of vibe. And I loved Bully, man. Absolutely loved Bully. I really wish Rockstar would have the balls to re-release
Yeah,
that.
no, they would
But I
never.
think
No.
we're in post woke infiltration Rockstar, so I don't think we're gonna get that. But
Now I heard you can get dark wizard powers in this game. Like I heard that's a thing.
yeah, dude, yeah, you can actually even get a Dark Wizard robe
Yeah.
in pre-ordering,
Oh
and
yeah.
it has this like skulls floating all over it and
Yeah.
whatnot. I'm like,
I
that's
mean,
pretty
so like,
sweet.
why would you ever choose anything else? I mean, come on. Everyone always chooses dark. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, yeah,
You choose light on
especially
your second playthrough.
Yeah,
Like, come on.
especially because they get like the really cool, powerful spells. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, like, oh, you could be Harry
um,
Potter or you could be fucking Voldemort. Like, come
mhm.
on.
But I'm having a lot of fun with that. I played it for about 4 hours last night. Um,
And you don't
I'm
feel
gonna play it
offended?
some more
Nobody
tonight.
hurt you?
No, you know
Nobody hurt your
what?
feelings?
You know what? I streamed it last night, like I told you, and I was just waiting for someone to jump in and
No
say
one
something.
smited you? No, like, you didn't burst into flames?
I didn't.
Wow.
I was worried about that. Yep. I told Caitlin, I was like, "This is a dangerous situation. We're
I'm surprised
stepping
she
into
didn't break
it."
up with you on the spot just because, like,
I know,
can't deal with the heat. Well, you listen to can't. There's a PR mess. Can't do it.
dude. I am so over the Hogwarts Legacy thing. I hate people, dude. I just saw right before we started podcasting that one of my favorite YouTubers, one of my favorite YouTube channels, it's Girlfriend Reviews. Have you ever watched any of their stuff?
Yeah.
I love, dude. They're the most like wholesome YouTube content you can find. It's literally just about um this girl and her husband at the point. No, I think I'm married at this point. They talk about playing games together, and they the commenters in her Twitch chat,
We're fucking
like,
brutal.
yeah, they literally got her to the verge of tears, and she ran off. Um, and then he was like, he says, I'm thinking about just shutting down the stream for the night and whatnot. And I'm like, are you guys serious? This literally affects none of them.
Yeah.
And I can't take it, man. I get so mad about this situation.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that because, like, I've been seeing just nothing but, like, just people losing their fucking shit over this game. I'm like, and it's like, what do you want the like? Like I said, we'll get more into it, but, like, what do you want these devs to do? Like, they already said who J.K. Rowling, who I'm gonna be honest, didn't really say anything bad that I'm aware of. Like, she, like, what do you want them to do? She's not involved in the game. They're making a Harry Potter game. They were paid to make a Harry Potter game. Like, what do you want them to do? Like, not get paid? Like, do you want them to make a shit product? Like, oh, let's take a stand and make this game shitty so no one ever hires us again? Like, what do you like? What do
Yeah,
you like?
that's exactly what they expect them to do. By the way, they're like, oh, they already got paid out for it. I'm like,
Yeah,
so you
like,
guys have no idea of careers. You have no idea how
right.
these things work.
Like, I would just
No.
love to live in a world. Like, I would love to see the world where you're just unreasonable. You're just the most unreasonable human being possible. Like, nothing's ever good enough. Everything's wrong. You're offended all the time. Like, I would love to just be the consummate just victim and then call myself like a social justice warrior or woke. Like,
Yeah.
if you're, I'm gonna ask, if you're woke, you deserve to get slept. Like, that's where I stand.
Yeah, dude, and like, I'm sick of it. I'm so tired of, like, because it's never enough. And then you point out like the hypocrisy, right? It's like,
Yeah, it's
all right,
ridiculous.
well, if you're claiming that buying this supports this, then what does that say about you buying an iPhone
Right.
or Nike shoes or shopping on Amazon like you so much supposedly hate? And it's like, oh, that's false equivalency, and it's like, no, it's not, dude. It's the exact same thing. You just don't want to admit that you're at fault, and everyone wants to be a victim because it removes the blame from themselves.
Yeah, it's just
I can't
like you
stand it,
could be
man.
like a keyboard warrior, just like, oh, say all this nasty shit. But then, like, on the other end of it too, oh, excuse me. But you gotta be able to have some thick skin. Like, you gotta be able to, like, people are gonna, if you're gonna put yourself out on the internet, like, say you and I are doing this and somebody leaves us a nasty YouTube comment, dude, eat a dick. Like, that's where we stand.
Yeah.
Like, we'll tell you that now. So whenever you do that, like, just know our stance here at Alpha Nerds LLC is get fucked, eat a dick. We say what we want, when we
Yeah.
want, to whom we please. And again, if
Yeah.
you want to stay woke, get slept. Like, that'll happen here on this podcast. But, like,
Dude, there, listen, since we're talking about, squaring up and throwing down right now,
yeah.
there was this dude in Jersey Shore who shot his dog
Oh, I
in the
seen this dude, this
woods.
piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and left it there for 6 days. The dog freed itself from its collar as it was dying, crawled itself to the road where someone found it, right?
Yeah.
His name got blasted
Yeah,
everywhere,
he's
all
everywhere.
over.
Yeah, he is everywhere.
This dude apparently was still working yesterday at a local restaurant. They fired him on the spot, right? Like,
Yeah, like, what
when the
the
story broke out, they fired him. Like, get out of here, dude. You're done. Apparently, on his way home, he got sucker punched, folded, and then kicked in the head.
Oh.
You know what? I
Damn.
don't feel bad for him. Fuck
No,
that
but
guy.
jeez. I mean, he deserves it, dude. Like, don't fucking shoot your dog and be a piece of shit. Like, hey,
Dude, I was so enraged when I was reading that story and the pictures of the dog who was still a puppy,
yeah.
6 months old. You
Like,
know,
just put the dog up for
like
adoption, my guy. Like, fucking damn.
if I saw that dude, I might sucker punch him, just
Right.
drop him.
Dude,
I can't take that, man.
it's gonna be worse in prison for him when people fight. People hate one thing when you go to prison. One thing you don't do, you don't hurt animals or little kids. Like
Yeah,
those are the two, and also rape people. That those are the three big things where, or snitch. So those are the four big things that people do not like. And once people find out, because it always comes out, that life's gonna be miserable for them. Like, oh, dude, you like to shoot dogs? Bam, give me your fucking cornbread.
thankfully, though, I think the silver lining to this story is the dog is
The dog's
um,
okay, I think.
the dog's young enough that I think it's going to be able to have a normal life. And there's a lot of donations coming in because the story went viral, and they caught it in time so that the dog survived. But what a absolute alpha that dog was, right?
Yeah,
Breaking free of its own collar after 6.5 days out in the freezing temperatures we've had in Northeast these last week, you know, and dragging itself to the road until someone noticed it. Absolute boss move.
yeah, and fuck that guy for shooting his dog. Like, what a piece of shit. Big
Yeah,
piece of shit.
seriously.
I hope they throw the book at him. I'll be following that case very closely.
Oh, I think they're going to, man.
I can't wait for him to come see me. Just come see me. We'll talk about it. I can't wait. Like,
We'll
I'm
have a
excited.
conversation.
We'll talk about it. So, yeah,
But yeah.
so,
And the last thing I wanted to play real quick. Last thing I want to talk about real quick that I was playing is I booted up a Dead Space remake today.
okay.
Scary, man. Too scary. Too scary.
Too scary.
Too scary, dude. I can't do it.
Wow.
I don't like video games or I can do for some reason I can handle scary movies, right? Stories, anything like that. Video games kill me, man. Video games kill me.
Oh yeah, I forgot you don't like horror games.
I so I don't. It's not that I don't like horror games. I don't like Resident Evil
Oh,
specifically. I don't
why?
like the way Resident Evil plays. I just don't. I I had a bad experience with like Resident Evil 4 and 5, right, where you couldn't move while aiming. I think that's the dumbest thing that they held on to for way too long. And then I remember I booted up the not the new one, but Resident Evil 7. And in that first combat encounter, I popped that demon bitch in the head.
Yeah.
And she didn't die. And I'm like,
nope.
All right. Okay. Like, I'm all right. I'm good on this.
Yeah. Ooh. I'm excited for Dead Space. I'm not gonna get it day one, just because I feel like that game is gonna get similarly to Callisto Protocol. I feel like it's gonna be real cheap later in the year. So like,
oh, for sure.
I'm making like a mental note, and then definitely gonna pop in when I see it on sale. I've noticed that now. Like now that I'm on Patient Gamers, that I wait to strike.
Oh yeah,
More
Patient Gamers, one of the greatest communities of all time.
Yeah. All right, we got to pause because I got to blow my nose. Bad.
Okay.
Talking about what the fuck were we talking about?
Dead Space.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, so I played Dead Space for a couple hours, and I was getting stressed out just playing it. And I'm like, oh god, this game it is so good though. Dead Space is so good. I played the original one way back in the day. I think 2008.
Yeah.
I think is when Dead Space 1 came out.
Game was dope.
I played that on PC. Unfortunately, it does have some issues running on PC, some frame drops and chugging along when you're opening doors and stuff like that. I've ran into some of those issues. What I think a lot of people don't realize, though, about these EA games is EA's Origin client on PC is like notoriously awful.
Oh god!
And you have to pretty much disable everything in it and run it in light mode in order to get a lot of stuff to work. It's really bad. So yeah, so once I realized that some of that stuff was on, I turned it off and it's been running a little better. But dude, this game was like a huge thing because the minimum requirements for this game now are the graphics card I have.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, oh no,
man, they got you. It's time.
Damn it! I gotta upgrade, which I knew was coming because when I built this computer, me and Watson built our computers at the same time, and I told him I was like, dude, right? yeah, I was like, dude, listen. I'm like, because this was before the prices of stuff got jacked up. I'm like, dude, listen, if we want to build these now, that's fine, as long as you're on the same page as I am that you're gonna have to replace the graphics card soon because it's the verge of the new consoles and game fidelity is gonna be cranked to the max in the next few years. So I knew this was coming, but it blindsided me. I was like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, it's time.
I'm gonna have to end up getting myself like a 3080 or something
Yeah,
like that
it's
soon.
time for me to build a new PC as well. So, and this time I'm
You
gonna
just
go.
bought yours last year, I thought,
No,
didn't
I
you?
bought
Wasn't
mine
this?
like it was like 2-3 years ago.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So, yeah, I want to go full. I'm gonna fully build it this time.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
so get
would love
myself
to
a
help you.
case and a graphics card and all that fun shit.
Hmm.
Hopefully, it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm willing to. I might be willing to sacrifice an arm or two. It's fine. Don't need it.
So what's up with you, buddy? How's
So I
what you got going
have.
on?
I don't know if you saw on the Alpha Nerds page on our social media. Your boy here got the
I
platinum
have.
for God of War Ragnarok.
Attaboy.
Yeah, that was a God of War Ragnarok was a fun journey for me. So I
Yeah.
put about 60 hours into it, and I'll say the story, while it ended a little funky, like the ending was good. Though I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I hated the ending. Wasn't expecting the ending, but the ending was good.
So
Good.
when I was playing through it, wait, so you're talking about the twist?
Yeah.
I figured there was going to be a twist based
Yeah.
on the first game, so I was kind of waiting for a twist. I didn't see the actual twist coming though.
Yeah. No, well, there's two twists for me. So in the first game, they allude to something. Then the twist where a certain someone is doing a certain thing, and you're
Hmm.
like, oh, what the fuck? Like, so like, there's two twists that were good. But then the end game stuff, doing the berserker fights, like I don't know how anyone does that on hard. That's because
Oh my god.
those fights were brutal. And
Yeah.
then spoilers, there's one more Valkyrie to fight. There's a new Valkyrie queen. You got to fight her, and she sucks. Like that fight sucks. It's not broken or anything like that. It's not unfair, but it's that fight will test your patience. The amount of times, like
Yeah.
I think she killed me like 30 times. Like I feel like
Oh my god.
yeah, it was like an obnoxious amount. And then there were times where like you'd get her like to a little bit of health, then you die. You're like, oh, God. Like
Yep.
no. But I finally got the platinum, so that's off
Attaboy.
my docket there. And then yesterday I just beat Trials of Mana,
Nice.
and
I was wondering. I knew that was a mana game. I saw you
yeah,
post that. Nice.
and it was just nice. Like that game, I wasn't really expecting anything out of it. Like I had played it originally like a couple years ago when it first came out, put like 12 hours in. So I'm like, yeah. And then when I finally went back to it, I just wanted to play something lighthearted, something that I didn't have to invest a ton of story or a ton of effort, a ton of thought. And surprisingly, it's a pretty deep game. Like I just finished my first playthrough, and it's recommended that you play through a second time to get the ending with the other three characters, which I don't know if I'm going to do because I was on board up until I met the one character named Charlotte, and she talks with the wisp. I'm like, oh, don't do that to me. And when a game's over, the minute one character talks, you're like, ooh, I can't deal with
Yep.
that. And everyone's
Yep.
like, change the voice actor. I'm like, but what if they do the same thing just in Japanese? Like, what if I can't deal with it? Like, I just,
Yeah.
so that might be a hold up for me on the second playthrough. And also going to see if like the second playthrough is worthwhile content. Like people say, you get extra dungeon to do, which I'm like, I don't know if I really give a fuck about an extra dungeon or not. That's the time. That's the type of time I'm on over here, where I'm like, don't know if
Yeah.
that's worth my time. But I will say,
Yeah.
overall with the game, I love like it's a '90s RPG. It's from that same
Hmm.
era of like '90s fucking chef's kiss
Right.
goodness from Square, and it was nice to just feel that. It was nice to feel that,
Relive those glory days, huh?
and that was my first Mana game.
Nice. Wait, that was your first mana game? I thought you played the one that came out a couple years ago.
So, yeah, I played it. I never beat Secret of Mana, but like this is the
Oh, okay.
first
So this is
Mana game like I went fucking in on.
oh, okay. Okay. Got you. Got you.
Yeah, and
I
like
understand.
Hawkeye's like one of my favorite characters. Like I think even as a kid, I would have gravitated to Hawkeye immediately as a thief. So like I was all in on that. But yeah,
Everyone
great
loves
game,
Steve's.
dude. Yeah, like and The soundtrack's really good. I recommend you go with the remake soundtrack first, and then you listen to the original just to see how different it is. But yeah, my only gripe with that game is how it runs, and that might just be because I played it on Switch.
Hmm.
Because the frame rate is kind of bad. It's like sometimes borderline 30 frames, a little less when there's more combat bogged down. But again, that could be a Nintendo Switch issue because I ran into the same problem with Nocturne on Switch where like it would crash on me sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Almost guarantee that's a Nintendo Switch issue, just based on what I've seen of the Nintendo Switch.
yeah, so that sucks because I think that game's right at home on Nintendo Switch. Like that game is the consummate Switch game where like I would play it on my lunch breaks like for an hour, just bang out like a couple areas, or if I got a boss fight to do quick, and then come
Hmm.
home play it on the dock. Like so, like that game was like the perfect Switch game. It's a action RPG. Like so, I thought that was the thought process when I bought it for Switch, and then for it to run like trash,
Hmm. Okay, so listen, based on like the how the show just goes, we have to bring up Legend of Gears every episode,
yeah,
right?
man.
I feel like that game series is right at home on the Switch, right?
Okay,
But I can't Switch now.
no, you're too
It's too
invested.
late. It's too late. I would love to play um, Hajimari on the Switch.
Yeah, that's not happening. Now it's got to be a PlayStation game for me.
See,
You
it's
jumped to PC
terrible.
like a fuck, didn't you?
I did. I jumped to PC, which I don't hate to jump to PC because Steam Link works so good and I can play it pretty much wherever, you know.
Yeah,
But man, those games would be perfect on Switch, man. And then here's the other thing too. I'm not convinced that Kuro no Kiseki is actually going to come to Switch
I don't think it
because
does.
those games are a lot more graphically, high end.
Yeah, I don't
So,
think those games are coming to Switch. I was thinking about going Crossbell Arc on Switch, but I'm also
mm,
waiting to see if this is just a simple YouTube video or Google search, but like if you have save data from like the um from Cold Steel, like if you get anything, because then that'll probably dictate my purchase.
one thing I was thinking about doing here, Pedro, was I was thinking about getting a Steam Deck.
Oh,
Yeah, I was thinking about getting a Steam Deck.
good luck.
Not 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 convinced fully, but I love the portability of the Switch and the idea of the Switch. I hate how it's bogged down by everything.
Yeah.
Hate it.
My only
So,
trepidation with a Steam Deck was like I would feel don't certain games have to be like optimized for it, like control wise and stuff like that.
only games that don't have like controller support already.
Yeah, so
So, like, if a game runs with an Xbox controller,
then it'll be
like
fine for
most games do, it's
yeah,
fine.
it'll be good for Steam Deck.
But we're talking about like I think when people have those issues, a lot of them are running into like they're trying to like play League of Legends or
Then you're
Civilization
just
stuff
just
like that,
get
and
a
they
fucking
gotta
laptop then. Like, don't be an
yeah
asshole.
they're trying to map their buttons. But here was the thing that it almost has me convinced, right? I think that you can emulate the Switch on the Steam Deck.
Oh,
Yeah. So yeah, people are saying it runs awesome. So is the Steam Deck the best way to play Switch games?
it might
you
be.
know,
It could be
that's what I'm saying because I know that people, for instance, when what was that game that came out on Switch recently that had horrible frame rate drops?
Pokemon.
Yes, Pokemon. People were able to fix Pokemon's frame rate in emulation by
That's
putting
not.
that on, but yeah, by changing the settings in the emulation. So, if that's possible, then it's reasonable to assume the best way to play Switch games is on the Steam Deck.
Yeah,
What are you
maybe.
gonna do?
I think that's the thing. So speaking of Nintendo, and maybe we could just get right into it now. They have a Nintendo Direct coming up for tomorrow.
Hmm.
So what do you expect out of Nintendo in 2023? Like what's because I feel like the Switch, like it's still running strong, it's still getting games, but like I feel like that hardware is getting a little long in the tooth, like a little
Yeah,
bit, like
it's time.
yeah, like I feel like games Nintendo's been trying to put out really big games that like have big ideas, but the hardware is bogging it down. So it's like, what are you guys gonna do?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think it's time to put the Nintendo Switch out to pasture, and that's fine. It's had a great run. It's sold, tons of consoles and systems, but the thing with gaming is that it is a medium that is constantly moving forward.
Yeah.
You can get a Blu-ray player and expect that you're always going to be able to play the Blu-rays on that Blu-ray
Right.
player, right?
Yeah.
Movies for 10, maybe even 20 years. But with video game consoles, I mean, that you're not going to get that. Your game's going to run great at first, maybe even on an uphill swing. They might get better at the peak of the console's life, and then they're going to slowly start chugging along as they make that transition to the next step. Um, and that's just where the Switch is now, where it's struggling to keep up. It's in a very much a Nintendo Wii situation right now,
Yeah.
where Nintendo Wii wasn't an HD console. It had HD support, but it wasn't an HD console. And you had the PS3 and Xbox 360s making gigantic leaps forward in fidelity, in 3D modeling, in online connectivity, and Nintendo fell behind in that generation. People forget, up until the Wii, Nintendo was right alongside
Yeah.
Sony and Microsoft in terms of like technology. Um, the GameCube was in the
Powerful
same
little cube.
realm as the PS2 and the Xbox, but they made the decision to go on the more gimmicky route with the Wii remote, and they fell behind technology wise. And then they didn't rectify that until too late. They released the Wii U in the middle of a generation,
Yeah, that thing sucked.
and since then they've been offset. Sony and Microsoft are head-to-head competitors. So they compete right alongside each other. And then Nintendo is having this offset console, which wouldn't be an issue, except their offset consoles are less powerful than the consoles that came
Right.
Sony and Microsoft a couple years prior to that, right? So now they find themselves in the situation again. PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series just came out a couple years ago, and now they're going to have to release a new console perhaps in the next year or two.
Because I'm trying to think, what's the Switch runs like an NVIDIA chipset, right? It's like a custom. I
I
can't remember
forget.
what it is,
It's
but
definitely a custom chipset. Let me just look it up real quick. So what I think we're gonna see is in this 45-minute Nintendo Direct tomorrow. I think we're gonna see 45 minutes of Legend of Zelda
yeah,
and maybe some Fire Emblem DLC and Metroid Prime.
Metroid Prime.
And because I think, well, first off, Metroid Prime has to be talked about at some
Eventually, like,
point,
good
right?
God.
Yeah, it has to be talked about at some point. Yeah, so the Nintendo Switch runs an NVIDIA Tegra X1. I
Yeah.
don't know enough about the mobile chipsets or anything like that to even give my opinion on it, but I feel like I remember someone talking about that's like an old school phone or tablet
Yeah.
chipset. It's like not that powerful compared to the modern day stuff. Um, anyway, I think we're at the very end stages of the Nintendo Switch's life. They got to get this Breath of the Wild sequel out. They got to get Metroid Prime out, and they got to get the last squeezes of juice out of this thing, and then they can finally unveil the Switch 2 or the Switch Pro or whatever the next
It'll probably
step
be
in
the
their in
new
their.
Nintendo Switch or something dumb. Though.
I would actually punch the CEO of Nintendo in the head.
Yeah, because I agree. That system's getting long in the tooth. I love it. I love my Switch. I don't play it enough just because, like, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard for me to find my way to Switch. Like, I feel like I have to force my way to give my Switch some love, and like, and it's not that the system does anything wrong. It's not like there's an issue with the system. I just feel like as a console gamer, like, you want like the best experience as possible, and sometimes, like, when you get something on Switch, you have to predispose yourself to, like, okay, like, this might run like shit, or like there's gonna be some frame rate issues, or the graphics aren't gonna be as
Mm-hmm.
good, or so then once you kind of temper your expectations, you're fine. But I will say they royally fucked up the Nintendo Switch port of GoldenEye. Good fucking god, they fucked that up.
That seems to be
Dude, it's brutal. Like
pretty common
the
occurrence,
controls are
right?
so bad. And here's what they did. Here's what they did. And we won't give them misconduct for it, but like we're watching. You pull this shit again, we're gonna have some problems. But they it's just a straight rip of the N64 version. So it's just like they emulated that version, and then they didn't think to like update the controls. Which I have one of two theories on this: either Nintendo told Microsoft or Rare that they couldn't fuck with it, or it was an inside job. Because, dude, I say this because like on Xbox, like when you boot up GoldenEye, it'll give you a little 3D map of the Xbox controller, and it plays with modern first person shooter controls. But
That's
on
nice.
Switch,
Wait, so can you aim up and down now?
yeah,
Nice.
on Switch, like it doesn't do that. It's mapped to like they mapped the N64 controller to the Switch controller, and it doesn't work. It like it takes forever to get used to, and it's not good. So I feel it's one of two things: either Nintendo told them they could not change anything, but they let them add online multiplayer, which isn't true online multiplayer. It's like you can play with 4 friends, but you can't like play randos.
Hmm.
Which I guess that's on me. I shouldn't have been expecting that, but the way they advertised it, like you could play online multiplayer. So I'm just kind of like, ugh. But yeah, they fucked those controls way up, dude. It's bad.
So this is a port of the Nintendo 64
Yeah,
GoldenEye.
correct.
Why didn't they already remaster GoldenEye during the PS3
That was a
era?
different game.
But it's the same. It's the
It wasn't a
same game
remaster. It
though,
was a
right?
remake
Why wouldn't they just re-release that?
because that wasn't good.
Oh, okay. I'm
they
not I'm not
did
a GoldenEye guy.
well. Okay, let me rephrase that. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't what we wanted. Like they did their own interpretation of GoldenEye, and we were like, nobody told you to do that. Why didn't you just give us HD GoldenEye?
Yeah.
It was one of those cases like, oh, we want to do our own thing. Okay, then don't make a GoldenEye game. How about that? How about that? But
I
yeah, so
guess.
but yeah, I just wanted to mention that fucking travesty. So getting into the main juice of the show, the meat and potatoes. What's going
I'm
on
ready
with the
for it.
DCU? What the fuck is James Gunn doing? What are we doing? Just you
I
see
think
that
he's
like
trying to.
whole manifesto that came out?
I saw he said something, but I didn't see. I didn't read it because I didn't care enough.
So
I, I know he said about Henry Cavill didn't get fired from Superman. He just wasn't cast.
yeah, that's called getting fired.
Yeah, especially because he was just confirmed the other day.
Yeah.
What
So
what do you mean? Manifesto. What happened here? What did I miss?
he announced a couple things. Like he touched on Henry Cavill wasn't recast.
Hmm.
Um but he's gonna merge like a lot of the stuff. So like some of the games are gonna be canon now. Some of the animated shows are gonna be canon. So some of the things that were announced were Creature Commandos, which is a 7 episode anime series written by Gunn that is already in production. Originally a team of classic monsters assembled to fight Nazis. This is a modern take on the concept.
Okay.
Sound fun? You in?
No, not really.
Waller, which is a spinoff of James Gunn's own HBO Max hit Peacemaker, which Viola Davis will return as a ruthless and morally ambiguous head of a government task force. It's written by Crystal Henry, who wrote Watchmen, apparently, which I don't know which Watchmen she wrote,
So
and Jeremy Carver, the creator of the Doom Patrol TV series.
apparently, Doom Patrol was really good,
I didn't
but
watch it.
I'm assuming you said Waller, right? So we're talking about
Correct.
Amanda Waller.
Yes, of Suicide Squad.
Dude,
I
why
don't
do we keep doing this?
I don't get what the obsession
Like
with Suicide Squad characters is. Like I don't.
me either. I don't get it. Dude, no one cared about Suicide Squad
Right.
until Harley Quinn. Without Harley Quinn, no one cares about these
Right. And
characters.
did we
And I
miss
don't
something because
understand.
they're getting a video game. They're getting a video game
Right.
from Rocksteady.
Right. And like it's like these producers and like investors could not see the context of the Suicide Squad is no one's favorite superhero team, but Harley Quinn was cast by an incredibly attractive woman in Margot Robbie. So everyone watched Suicide Squad for Margot Robbie, and they
Yeah.
watched the second one for Margot Robbie, and
Right.
they watched there's three of
Birds
them
of
now,
Prey,
right?
isn't? Is she in
Well,
Birds of
because
Prey?
yeah, there was
No.
the Suicide Squad reboot, and then Birds of Prey. She
Is
was
she
in
in
Birds
Birds
of
of
Prey.
Prey?
It was
I see.
terrible.
I can't even
Yeah,
follow this shit.
I think so. Let me double check.
Yeah, so we might even be wrong on
Birds
that.
of
This is how fucking
Prey.
out of the fucking loop we are with DC. So while
Yeah,
you're
she
looking,
was. She was in Birds of Prey.
oh god, so Superman Legacy, the movie featuring the Man of Steel that Gunn is writing, may direct, although no commitments that would have on that end of it made. While the two previous titles are meant to be, I don't even, I don't even know what the fuck that means. Ambiguous. Superman is the true kickoff for the duo's DCU plan. It's not an origin story, Seraphin said. It focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. So yeah, release date of July 11th, 2025.
I don't care about Superman.
Lanterns is being created. Greg Berlanti's long in the works Green Lanterns TV series has been scrapped, and Gunn and Seraphin have parted ways with the longtime DC series steward. So Greg Berlanti was fired. He's out. So
Jeez.
like the guy who did Arrow, Flash, Titler, the fuck is that other one? The God, I can't remember that spinoff show. That was it. No, hang on, don't tell me. Legends of Tomorrow. There we go. He got fired. He's out. The Authority, a movie based on a team of superheroes with rather extreme methods of protecting the planet, first originated in the 1990s under an influential imprint known as Wildstorm, run by artist and now head of DC Publishing Jim Lee. One of the things that DCU is that it's just not a story of heroes and villains. Not every film and TV show is going to be about good guy versus bad guy. Giant things come from the sky, good guy wins. There are white hats, black hats, gray hats. They're kind of like Jack Nicholson and A Few Good Men. They know what you want them on the wall, or at least believe that. Paradise Lost, The Brave and the Bold.
So I have a theory on what's going on here. I think I know what's going on.
Uh-huh.
James Gunn took a group in the Guardians of the Galaxy, which no one cared about. No one cared about at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he made them extremely hyper popular. And I think he's trying to recreate that success with some of these ridiculously niche comic book groups.
Yeah. So
And I don't think it's going to work.
no. So it continues. The Batman sequel. So Robert Pattinson's going to play at least one more Batman movie that he might be out. So
I don't hate that.
Booster Gold. Go ahead. I'll wait for the reaction. Booster Gold. Go ahead.
Sorry, that was my reaction. I don't have a reaction to Booster.
Exactly, because he's a fucking nobody. So it's gonna be an HBO Max series based on a lesser known hero created in 1986. It's about a loser from the future. Oh, so it's Barry Allen. I'm kidding. So it's about a loser from the future who uses basic future technology to come back to today and pretend to be a superhero. It's imposter syndrome as a superhero. A riveting description. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Swamp Thing. Is there anything else? So yeah, these are just some of the things they talked about, like bringing back. But I don't know if I like this.
I don't know. Listen. I've talked about this before, over and over again. I might just be jaded because I'm out in the whole superhero thing, but just hearing some of these, I'm like, where's the where are you going with this? Because almost guaranteed 30 to 50% of this stuff is going to flop.
Yeah.
Almost guaranteed, And at least with like Guardians of the Galaxy, right? You had like Chris Pratt and Dave Bautista, who people were like already in with.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And Chris Pratt could probably sell anything he's in just based on his personality alone.
Dude, he's Mario.
Chris Pratt is the reason Guardians of the Galaxy succeeded, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know, dude. I mean, at this point, I'm just like, DC can just, go do whatever they want and just fail because they haven't made anything consistent or good since they started this whole initiative when Marvel took off. And I don't have any faith that any of these things are going to be quality
Neither
movies.
do I. And it sucks because, like, we've said this before, but they've made good movies. Like, there have been movies that were good. like I will always stand by the Joker movie. I love that fucking movie. The Batman, I love that movie. Like those are two of the greatest films I've seen probably in the last decade.
Well,
And
I think
God,
the Batman kind of writes himself though, right? Like
yes,
that's Batman. You got a classic revenge tale, and the motivations are all there. You don't need a whole lot of chops to write a Batman movie.
yeah, I
That being
agree.
said,
I
the
agree. I
last one
agree
was
with
good.
you. But like, even so, people, and not that I want to get into a whole Batman discussion, but people didn't like Pattinson as Batman. I see why, but I also see why he works. Like, if they can, and maybe this is just kind of the way the movie was shot, but if they can work on him in the Bruce Wayne aspect, I think there's a lot of potential there because I thought he wore the cowl well. I thought, like, I just thought he looked good in that role. And the
Yeah.
way they started off that movie, the way they wrote the Riddler, like he had a little bit of Zodiac vibes, which I liked. I thought that was
Hmm.
like, you know what I mean? Like the Riddler felt like a fucking threat for the first time ever. And if you're gonna write me a Batman in that type of universe, I'm in. I'm with you. But like, don't disrespect my time. Like, don't then tell me that the next Joker movie is gonna be a musical or whatever the hell we're doing, and
Oh, I
then
forgot about
then
that.
like it's not gonna be canon, or don't sell me The Rock as Teffa Adam, and then tell me, yeah, get fucked. You're not getting Henry Cavill versus like you're not getting any of that. But show it to me anyway. Like, don't fucking disrespect me. Like, it's
Yeah,
just so like that's where I stand with it, and it just I don't know, man. Like, I'm
I saw
obviously gonna
someone
keep an
else
open
bring up.
mind. Good.
I saw someone else bring up that all the old Justice League actors and characters were at the end of Peacemaker as well.
Yeah. Like, so
So how's it gonna work? We're just
yeah,
gonna
and
make that?
I haven't
Is that
even
not gonna
watched
happen?
Peacemaker yet. Which I heard is actually
Yeah,
pretty good, but
yeah.
like if you're gonna do this stuff, like just give me a semblance of continuity. Because as much as I bitch slap the fucking MCU all the time, at least everything has a purpose. It makes sense. They're building up to
Mhm.
something, so at least there's a cohesive story that I can follow. And then when I watch the big movie, I'm not like, well, this sucks. But I also caution you because now I'm in the aspect of the MCU where I was literally saying it the other day. I'm like, I guess I'll go watch Ant-Man because I'm too invested now. Now I gotta see this shit. Like I gotta see it to
You
the
gotta cut
end.
the cord, man. You gotta cut the cord.
No, I don't
I
like
cut
wasting my
myself out after
I don't
Endgame.
like wasting my time. So I'm gonna go see it. It's gonna happen because I got it, and I hate Ant-Man. So
Really? I
I
thought they that what's his name brought him to life pretty well.
Paul Rudd. I mean, I like Paul
All
Rudd,
right,
but
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and here's the thing: like, finally they stopped doing this because around my birthday, usually there's an MCU movie and a big UFC card. It was always Ant-Man. It was always fucking Ant-Man. So
You got a massive one this year, right?
I don't know. I don't know if there's one coming out on my birthday this year. I didn't
I
look.
thought there was.
No, we got
There
Hajimari
was.
coming out on my birthday.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is.
It's gonna
Big
be a
deal.
banger weekend. But so now that we're on the topic of movies,
Yeah.
we're gonna address our first misconduct.
Uh oh. All right.
So
Pull it out.
number one on the misconduct list, and we're gonna do a little bit of bouncing around to kind of fit our narratives here. Um, did you see the story with AMC changing their prices?
Yo, I did. How disconnected can you possibly be? People
like,
already are not coming to your theater, and now you're gonna do this? Yo, get out of here.
y'all were a meme stock. Like literally,
Yeah,
Wall Street Bets saved AMC, and
yeah.
I made a lot of money on that. For a fun fact, I made like 5 grand. But uh, yeah, like they were like literally on life support, and they were getting short sale or whatever shorted, and then to come out later, like a year and a half later, to be like, yeah, we're gonna charge based on where you sit. So like out here in like the greater Philadelphia area, I don't know how like movie theaters are packed, but like I'm thinking of like central Pennsylvania. So I'm gonna go to like the movie theater in like Muncie, and there's
Mhm.
nobody in this theater, but you're gonna charge me extra to sit in the middle of the theater that's empty. Fuck yourself.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. I saw that and I could not believe it. I'm like, do you guys not understand that like you're done. It's over
Yeah,
already.
that's
And you're
over.
just accelerating it. Like movie theaters are done. It's
Yeah,
it's it's a done thing. And there's been some pushes in the last couple years I've noticed to like try and force people to go back to the theaters. But like, dude, honestly, once streaming started and you can
yeah,
just get things from home at better quality in your
yeah,
own home where you can pause it, like watching movies at home with like a good sound
yeah.
system and
With a good
everything
setup,
has
you can't.
become
Yeah,
it's become a better system than going to the theater. The theater is an old dying thing. And
Yeah.
I'm so tired of these people like fucking Martin Scorsese and whatnot talking about how like going to the theater is like an essential experience for film and stuff. No, it's not, dude. No, it is not.
No.
There is no difference. You can enjoy a movie at home just as much as you can enjoy a movie at the theater. There's no difference. You're sitting in a dirty ass chair that's been cleaned 6 months ago by some dude on minimum wage. The floor's sticky. You got kids crying in the front seat. Like, get out of here with that
Dude,
nonsense.
remember when we went and saw Justice League at the Williamsport Theater, and there was apparently a mugging that happened in the back of the theater during the movie that we didn't know about?
I do not remember that.
Yeah, yeah, it came out in the
I do not
newspaper like the
remember
next
that.
day, like they were mugging in like or Williamsport AMC, and I was like, we were there last night.
Dude, I literally went to the theater one time, right, to watch. I think it was the second, the Wolverine Samurai movie when he went to
Oh, it was
Japan,
brutal.
the Silver Samurai, whatever
Yeah.
movie. And the dude was sitting in front of me, ripping an e-cigarette and blowing clouds, and I'm like, I hate, and I'll never forget. The movie theater was so hot in there that I was like sweating to death. I'm like,
The
I
worst
hate the
experience.
theater. This is terrible, man. And you don't like you don't want to say anything, right? Because then you're
Right.
going to create a disruption for everybody. So it's
Yeah.
like, what do you just got to grit your teeth and bear it. And I hate that, man.
Yeah.
I
No,
hate
there
it.
have been a couple fucking incidents at movie theaters I've had. Remember when we went and saw Rogue One and they didn't turn the lights off?
I don't think I went to see Rogan with you.
Yeah, you went and see me and Robert. Oh no, that was episode 8. That was episode 8.
Yeah.
And which is another really funny story because I remember me and Robert both walked out of the movie like this movie blows, and you're like, that was great, great. We're like looking at you like, what?
I was in denial, dude. I couldn't handle the truth that there was a bad Star Wars
Yeah,
movie
dude,
and
we
I
were
just
at
saw in
Denny's and we
theaters.
are like, dude, that movie sucked, and you're like, nah, it's
I was like, that's my
fine.
favorite Star Wars movie. I don't know what you guys are talking about. This is ridiculous. This is the worst take I've ever had.
Yeah, sometimes it's tough. Like I remember, listen, you have tough takes. I remember when I left that first Justice League movie, I'm like, yeah, it was okay, it was fine.
Yeah, it was good.
And then like when I
No,
saw the the Snyder cut, I'm like, we need to fire Josh Whedon into the sun. Like you need out, never make another
dude,
movie again.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna hurt you,
You
right?
didn't like that movie,
But
I know.
I watched the Snyder cut and I was like, this doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, that hurts. We're just gonna let that hit the air for a minute. Like that hurts, but it's okay. Like you can be wrong, but me and over here in the real world,
Sorry.
we're all Snyder Cut fans. But
I'm sorry, buddy.
Zack Snyder very misunderstood. But Batman vs Superman, bad movie. Sorry, Zach. I can't defend that. Can't defend that.
I'll never.
Even though there are some people who will say Batman versus Superman is a good movie, I'm talking to you, George Beddick. I'm talking to you, buddy. I'm talking to you. We'll have him on the show one time, and he will. God bless his soul. He will debate you till you're into submission about that movie being good. And it's George. It's not. It's not. Let it go.
The one thing I'll say about Batman v Superman, now that they get kind of merged together with part two, right? Is I feel like it could have been a really good movie if they didn't try to do so much. I remember there being like a ton of cut scenes and how like the movie almost didn't even make any sense
Yeah, it was
because like
fucked
there
up
was so
editing.
much stuff ripped out. Yeah. And also, dude, I'll die on the hill of Batfleck. I thought Ben Affleck was the man for Batman.
I love Batfleck.
And
Big Batfleck guy.
and I love, dude, and people, I felt like people were being unnecessarily critical towards his Batman, where like I'm totally cool with like an adult Batman just
Yeah,
absolutely cracking skulls, like just being merciless because that's how he's written in the books too. He's not
yeah,
killing people in the books, but he might as well be. Like he's ruining these guys, like
yeah,
breaking their spines and stuff. Like he's brutal, man. And everyone looked at that portrayal, they'd be like, "That's too dark." It's like, it's kind of realistic.
yeah.
He's not blowing people's heads off with a pistol, but like it's
Right.
kind of realistic.
No, yeah. Listen, the world is not ready for Thomas Wayne Batman. That's the brutal
Oh,
Batman.
dude, how are you feeling that he's part of Flashpoint and we're getting the Flashpoint movie? How are you feeling?
I can't believe that it's happening. I'm gonna take the day off work, probably drink heavily, and then
Hmm.
go to the movie and cry myself to sleep when it's bad.
Who is your ideal Thomas Wayne casting? Like an old rugged guy. I thought George Clooney would have been the perfect
Now,
role for it.
see, he's not rugged enough for me.
You don't think so?
No, see, if you're thinking like an old, rugged, like I'm thinking maybe Josh Brolin or Brolin, I think what the fuck his name is. Yeah,
Uh,
I would.
maybe.
I liked him as Cable, so I'm trying to picture like that, like in my head. Or you could even go. I'm trying to think who else would be like a good fucking old.
Oh no, dude! They already casted the perfect. I forgot about this.
Who?
They already casted the perfect actor, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Negan from The
Oh yeah,
Walking Dead.
yeah. Okay, yeah, I see. I'm
He's
with that.
perfect for Thomas Wayne.
I'm with that.
I kind of hope they go with that, dude. He would be perfect. I mean, honestly, he'd make a good Bruce Wayne too, but he makes a great Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, I'd be for that. I would be for that. So yeah, so in a nutshell, like we don't know what's going on with the DCU. Do you have any closing thoughts on DC before we move this train right along here?
Um, Not really, not really. I mean, I just wish it was more fun.
Yeah,
Comic book stuff used to be fun, you know,
yeah,
and it's just not anymore. Like there was a time when I was scrounging together quarters out of my like glove box and stuff to buy the latest issue of Spider-Man in
yeah. No,
college.
now it's dead.
And they ruined that. And I was packing up my apartment, not that long
Yeah,
ago. And I was packing up, statues and pictures of comic book stuff. And I'm like, I should probably just throw this away. They really have ruined comic book stuff for me, like
it's so
in a
over
really
commercialized. It's brutal.
really deep way. I mean, I have some really rare like statues and stuff I like to display, but I'm like, I don't feel like this doesn't excite me anymore, right? Everything Spider-Man now is Spider-Verse or Miles Morales or Spider-Gwen. And
Yeah.
it's just like the longest tenured writer on Spider-Man, right? He wrote something like 200 issues of The Amazing Spider-Man.
Uh
Dan Slott famously blocked me, unblocked me, and then
huh.
blocked me again later on. So he's aware of my presence. Anyway, famously, sorry, yeah, I just said he blocked me, unblocked me, and then reblocked me. Anyway, he recently went on like this tirade about Peter Parker and how, and like this really was like it hurt to read. He said that the idea that Peter Parker can progress is fake, that he will never progress, and that the idea of him progressing is what keeps people reading as a character. Because someone was arguing about how Peter Parker's ever since the Brand New Day transition, he's been a dude in his late 20s, early
Yeah.
30s who's broke, and just struggling, and how a lot of us grew up with married Peter Parker who was a professor or a high school teacher or part of the Avengers. And yeah, man, let me see if I can find his actual quote. It's just it's just it's what we've all been feeling, but to see the longest tenured writer on Spider-Man say it is like it's heartbreaking
Yeah,
because
it's tough.
it's never going to change. And it's the same thing for Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is in the same situation. Um and they do the same stuff over and over again, right? Like, okay, how is Osborn going to come back this time? You know, where's Doc Ock in his new robot suit?
Mhm.
I just see, when's Ben Riley going to come back again? When's Carnage going to take over the next villain, and it's
Yeah,
just you can write this stuff on off. The Spider-Man 2018 game on PS4, I
loved it.
thought was phenomenal and daring
Chester.
and took a lot of risks with the character. And I am so disappointed to see that they have Miles Morales as a side-by-side character in Spider-Man 2, because I know for a fact at maybe the midpoint or the end point of Spider-Man 2, Peter Parker is going to die and Miles Morales is going to take over because it's predictable. You can see it. Yeah, I like it's Miles' character. And to be honest, Miles needs that, right? Miles
Yeah.
needs Peter Parker to die. But the fact that I can sit here and tell you I know what's going to happen is an issue, because it's
Yeah, it
not going to
sucks.
surprise me when it does.
Yeah, I hope you're
I
wrong, but yeah, that sucks.
I can't. I don't want to spoil Spider-Man, but I didn't see the two big twists at the end of the Spider-Man 2018 game coming, and it was so refreshing, and I was blown away. But I know exactly what's going to happen in Spider-Man 2. It has to. So
It's sad because like I don't know about you. I liked Miles Morales, like the Spider-Man spinoff he had. I actually really liked
mhm,
that game. Like I thought it was actually pretty good. I was like, oh, okay, all right. So
mhm.
I'm hoping that they don't do that because I feel like Insomniacs had like free run to kind of do what they want with those stories. So I'm just hoping that like they just give us two Spider-Mans. Fuck it, why not? But I do agree with you that yeah, probably someone's gonna get dirt napped in this game. What if they kill Miles? Like that.
But see, like, that's the thing, because Miles is protected. He can't do it. So I don't know. So let me see here. So
Only
Dan
thing
Slott said,
good.
in terms of Fantastic Four, Franklin and Valeria existed Fantastic Four, a book whose buy-in is family. That's not the buy-in for Spider-Man. The illusion of change does not mean doing anything new. It's a challenge of writing for established characters, finding stories that have never been told with them while still being iconic characters that every generation enjoys reading about, both new and old.
Yeah.
So there was a longer tirade. I'm trying to find it, but that's the essential thing. Like they want. Oh, right here. Here we go. Elseworlds are a great place for things to happen that you can't really do in core continuity. There is no story that I or any other writer could tell with a married Spider-Man in core continuity that would see print at Marvel.
True.
And it's just like,
Yeah, that's true.
why? Why though? Because that's everyone's favorite Peter Parker. Dude, six 6 year olds aren't grabbing comic books off the shelves anymore.
No.
I bet if you polled comic book readers, it would be 30-year olds.
Yeah.
The majority of them.
Yeah, kids don't read comic books these days.
No. So why are we? I mean, and if they were, why wouldn't Miles Morales be that character? Miles Morales is supposed to be the younger, up and coming Spider-Man. Why wouldn't he be the character so we can let Peter Parker evolve?
All
But
right.
they never will allow that to happen, and it just drives me crazy, man.
You just gotta,
That's.
you
I
just gotta
forget.
wait for
I think
those
you
old
asked.
heads to die off. That's it. Old people. Done with you.
But in terms of Bruce Wayne,
We'll do all
the
sorts of
thing that
shit. Yeah.
drives no, the thing that's driving me crazy is the fact that he can't progress is because of the editor in chief. You just said his name. He's my favorite Batman artist.
Ooh, Greg Berlanti.
Jim Lee. Jim Lee?
Oh yeah.
Is that his name?
I don't remember.
That doesn't sound right. Lee.
So while you're looking that up, um,
Jim Lee. Yeah, it's Jim Lee. Sorry,
good.
real quick. Jim Lee won't let Batman progress, which kills me because he's my favorite writer of Batman of all time. My favorite writer and my favorite artist of Batman of all time. And it's his decisions that are keeping Batman from progressing. Sorry.
No, you're
I went on a rant.
good. We encourage rants here. This is a platform for you to express yourself, sir. But don't
Thank
you
you.
dare say you're playing Hogwarts Legacy. Don't do that. Don't. No.
It's the worst thing
So
you can have.
yeah, that's fucking. Whoa. So getting into the Hogwarts stuff, like we touched on it at the top of the show. There are streamers now calling for a Twitch boycott over ad campaign for Harry Potter. Um, not that I want to beat a dead horse, but like it's a video game, people. It is a video game. It is pixels on a screen made by people who were paid to do a job. They did their job, and from all intents and purposes, they seem to have done their job well enough that it generated buzz and excitement for for this game. And here's my other thing: where were you same fucks when like the Fantastic Beasts were coming out? I didn't see no hate for that. Granted, the movie bombed, but like where was all the hate for that? Like they filmed the movie, right? So it's just like I don't understand.
Where's all the hate for these people outside
Yeah,
of Universal Studios,
right.
the
So
theme
it's
park? You know,
yeah, so it's just like I don't understand where we come off like getting on a Twitch stream and like harassing people. And like I said, to the point where they feel like emotionally upset, like these streamers who stream the game, yeah, they're going to stream the game. Why? It's popular. It's going to generate views and it's going to generate traffic to their channel. They're trying to grow their channel. You're trying to grow a business. You're trying to create content for people to consume and for them to, you know, eventually consume it enough that someone is willing to pay you a finite monetary value for you to continue doing that. So of course you're going to stream something, right? But for people to sit there and be like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit," or call your values into question, like, like how hypocritical is that? Let's call your values into question. Like, you're not brave enough to like get on stream and confront somebody. Then, if that's what you're gonna do, put yourself on camera and confront somebody. Have a conversation about it if you so feel inclined that you need to do that. But like, don't sit there and do all this moral keyboard warrioring for what? And I'm seeing like, oh, it's only the left and it's the right. Like, all it's not political. It's stupid, is what it is.
it's stupid. Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that. I don't like. I just do not get it. And like I said at the beginning of the show, like the devs were like, yo, J.K. Rowling, regardless of what she said or not, is not involved in this game. Like, she's not involved. Yeah, she's gonna make royalties off this, of course, because she created the IP. Like, it's her right
Which
to make.
she
It's her
should
right.
get royalties off of
Yeah.
this, right? Like, what kind of weird fantasy world are we living in?
Yeah, like
You know,
what? And it's just like I don't understand that. But in the same context, right? Like the Rick and Morty creator, you don't see all the hate for Rick and Morty, right?
right?
Like they got rid of him, and everyone's like, "Oh yay, we get to keep Rick and Morty. Why not just get mad about it?" Like adults wouldn't let it go on for years.
So, all right, listen, dude. The issue is that people won't shut the hell up about it, and I don't know how many times this needs to happen for these companies to realize that the best defense you can play against this like Twitter drama
He's
is
not
to
as
just
engaged in it.
not say anything, not acknowledge it, not say anything. Because the second you do, you validate these people and they attack like wolves,
Yeah,
right?
they're all over it.
Every time we've seen companies come under fire and they've just completely deflected it, like Play Asia came under fire a while back, right? They didn't say a word.
Oh yeah,
No
whatever.
one talks about Play Asia anymore. This Hogwarts Legacy thing has been ongoing forever because the devs have come out and been like, no, 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 we promise, like everything's cool, like buy our game, like we're not, transphobic or whatever. And like, like all the who publishes the Hogwarts Legacy? Is it EA?
WB, I think.
WB came out and made a statement. Um, but dude, it's the Streisand effect in the most extreme version I've ever seen it. All right. Not only I just looked this up right now. I'm looking at it currently. Not only is Hogwarts Legacy, I need to sort this by viewers. I'm sorry. Hogwarts Legacy is right now the second, the number one game streamed. Right, it's the only just chatting is
Yeah.
above Hogwarts Legacy, which it always is. It's always the number one. All right.
Uh
Yesterday, Harry Potter, the PS1 games were
huh.
on the top stream. Right?
That's awesome.
You can't tell the internet what they can and cannot do. How
Right.
many times does this have to be proven? You can't tell them you're not allowed to play this because everyone's going to do it. You know why? Because they hate these people.
Yeah.
Everyone hates these people, and not because they're trans or not because they're talking about trans rights. It's because they're hall monitor assholes. They
Right.
sit there and they try to police your opinions. They try to
Yeah.
they try to police you because they feel like they have the emotional and moral and knowledge superiority over you. And that is why they do it, because they've been validated over and over and over again, and they have nothing better to do, because this is the most first world problem you're gonna have.
Yeah,
They don't have any other struggles that are real. They have these internet struggles, right? The poorest people in the United States still have cars,
correct.
right? We're not talking about like real poverty.
Right.
We're talking about like you're
First
gonna be
world
fine.
poverty. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine, right? So these people live in the safest country in the world, and they they just don't have anything to do. They don't have anything to complain about. So they complain about Hogwarts Legacy. It's just
Yeah.
like insane. And they
Because
bully innocent streamers, and
yeah,
it's disgusting.
yeah, and like this also like reminds me. Remember that game Watson famously loved, that Kingdom Come Deliverance, where
Oh, same
people were
thing, yeah.
freaking the fuck out, like, oh, there's no black people, and then they're like, well, it's 14th century Bohemia, so like safe to
Yeah, dude.
say there were no black folk there that we were aware of. And they even had like historians working on the game, like, so like to be as most historically accurate as humanly possible. So like it was like, what? So
And those devs refused to back down, and
yeah,
that
because they
was the
didn't have
best move
to.
they could
Yeah,
make. Yeah. I still want to go back and play that game too. You
I
did,
tr-
right? It's
yeah,
pretty
I got
terrible.
further than Watson. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's
Got further than
it's not
Watson.
good though.
It's not bad. I wouldn't consider it good, but like I also wasn't very good at it, so like maybe my experience it was bad. But I
Yeah.
also like, for as far as like accuracy and authenticity, like it felt like you fucking really had to like train your sword and train your bow to even get remotely good at it. The lock picking was fucking awful. Uh but yeah, I just want it to be known, put it out there. I got further than Watson. I got further than
There's
Watson.
there's been so many people caught in the crossfire of this too. So
Yeah.
many people, innocent people, like Troy Levitt
Yeah.
and that Kara from Limited Run Games.
Yeah.
This all started because of her saying something about Hogwarts Legacy as well, how she was excited for it,
Right.
dude. And it's like we really truly we have to stop giving these random internet people power, because they take it, and
And they run
they
with it.
feel validated and they feel empowered, and we have to like companies have got to stop. Hogwarts Legacy, it has to be an eye opener for these companies, right?
Uh-huh.
There was supposedly this massive boycott. It is the number one
Right.
streamed game right now, and for the longest time, it was the number one pre-ordered game on Steam. And it's just like they have to understand now. Like, these are a few thousand people throwing a fit in comparison to millions of people who will buy your product and love it. That's
Yeah,
all
I
there is
don't,
to it, man.
and like I said, for the streamers, like, and personalities, like, you also need to understand that you're in a world where like you have the ability to tell people to fuck off. Like like
Yeah.
I understand like maybe it's scary with like sponsorship and ad deals and all that stuff, or getting demonetized or whatever it is, but I encourage you guys to really look at, what you stand for and what you believe in, and don't be afraid to tell somebody like, yo, I don't agree with you, and you're not going to just sit here and bully me into changing the way I feel or changing my opinion. And it's unfortunate that some of these companies are very cowardly and will, like, someone will lose their job. Like, that's not okay. Like, I don't want anyone to ever lose their job. But
Mhm.
from all intents and purposes, that lady who lost her job at Limited Run Games was saying that she's gonna have better opportunities. So, sometimes like it's a blessing in disguise. But yeah, don't ever let anyone tell you how you can think, act, or feel. You're in control of you, and it's just like I never in a million years would anyone on the internet ever tell me, like, oh, whether you agree with me or not, or there are things on this show that we'll say or that we should say that you may not agree with, and never in a million years are you going to tell me to my face, like, oh, you need to be canceled or you need to be this. Like, like I said, get fucked. Like, we don't care.
But you know what else, man, that I can not stop thinking about is that if people tried to come after you online, right?
Yeah, like,
I'm right there.
yeah,
And what's really sad is that a lot of these influencers get abandoned
yeah.
immediately.
That's shitty.
Like, Colin got abandoned
Yeah,
when he made a shitty little joke by
yeah,
his best friends. And I can't imagine. Like, I can't imagine you guys all just turning your back on me
yeah.
for
Be
making a silly joke like that.
like,
And
like
it's
no,
like what in the fucking holy shit is going on in society where you will abandon 10 years of friendship
Right.
in order to save face, which
Yeah.
by the way should never have happened. Greg Miller is on film making rape and abortion jokes.
Correct.
And I'm not saying Greg should be canceled. I think
No.
Greg is mostly a positive force in the gaming industry, right? But who are you to stand on the high ground, right? Let's not forget the first Game Over Greggy show Tim Geddes ever made was about Disney princess fuck list, right?
Right.
And somehow he's okay. He's fine, right? Danny O'Dwyer can talk about how racist he is and how he hates Muslims and black people, but he's fine because he's part of the.
Yeah, he's part of their liberal,
What do
their
you even want to
political
call it?
agenda. Yeah.
What? How can you even like say that though? Because it's not like clearly that's a lie.
Uh huh.
Clearly it's fake, right? Like you don't just do that. What was that other dude that is like Patrick Klepek
Oh
making like
yeah.
all these rape jokes and like pictures? I mean, that was a long time ago, but still, like, how is that okay? You
Yeah,
know?
I agree.
But it's but
These guys are
all of
hypocrites.
a sudden, like if you have a target on your back, people are gonna shoot at you, and I just I hate Twitter, man. I really do, and I hate the fact that we give these losers, these people who wake up every day, look in the mirror, and like hate themselves. We give these people the power, the most irrational motherfuckers. It's crazy.
Yeah, and
Here's my soul.
and like I said, you should never give anyone power over you to tell you what you can and cannot say. Like never in a million years. Like say, not that it will happen or when it does happen, whatever. If this were to get like very profitable for us somewhere down the road, and like I say some stupid shit, or even you say some stupid shit, or if somebody we have on the show says something stupid, and like, oh, people will be like, oh, cancel. Like we're not doing that. Like we're just going to continue doing what we're doing. Like if there's something that we may need to apologize for, we'll discuss that internally and deal with it. But like if not, then like we're not gonna like don't like you. No one ever should be in a position where they should be bullied into like thinking or feeling something. And like I said, these Twitch streamers, like I feel for the girl who got like brought to tears, but also in the same aspect, like understand you're putting yourself out onto the internet. Not everyone's going to be nice to you, and you got to be able to have a little bit
Yeah,
of thick skin and have that stuff bounce off you.
I think in in their case though, they are an extremely positive, very wholesome channel of content creators who really don't deal with criticism like that, and to all of a sudden be brigaded by people calling you an awful person.
Probably
I
wasn't even
can
the real
see how that would.
fans.
Well, no, but
Yeah.
so that was the really sad part about the clip, is that she's like, it's not just random viewers, it's subscribers
Oh
that are
wow,
saying this to us. And she's like, I love you guys, but I'm going to block anyone who says this. And
that's all
she
right.
she ended up just having to break down and and walking off. And it's like it's really sad because, like I said, these people make such wholesome, good content. And when did we start judging people based on not the collection of who they are, but one thing, right? You can make one offensive tweet 15 years ago when it wasn't offensive, and that's
Yeah,
that's who you are today.
yeah.
It's just it's ridiculous, man. It's out of control, and at some point, as a collective, as a society, we just have to say no, no more. We're not doing this anymore.
Like as Kratos says, we must be better.
Yeah, we must be better, and we become better by finding these people and folding them. Square
Yes.
up, throw down. That's our
Hmm.
motto.
Yeah.
Adam
Uh,
Sessler, the offer is still on the table to box me for charity. I will wear twice the size gloves. You will. You can be bare knuckle. How about that?
so we got to get you in Creator Clash. We got to figure out how we could get onto that card.
I listen. I'm willing to do Creator Clash, but only against people that I hate because I think it's really weird. I think it's really, really weird, man. These
That there's like positive. There's no shit talking.
yeah, it's so weird.
It's just what we're not used to it. We're used to guys just talking a bunch
Well,
of
no,
shit. Like,
as someone who's been in boxing gyms, in martial arts
yeah.
competitions, there's friendly, you can be respectful, right?
Uh,
But in your mind, every time you're like, I'm gonna knock this motherfucker out cold.
Yeah,
He's
you're gonna kill him.
never gonna get up again.
Yeah.
He is done,
Yeah.
right? So for them, for like, it's like I saw like Alana Pierce talking about how she's boxing some nobody girl, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, there's no harsh feelings. Like we're just doing this for charity. I'm like, are you?
Well,
Is
what?
that what's really going on inside your head?
I hope you both feel that way because, like, what? Someone's gonna go out there and get slapped, and it's like, and
Yeah,
it's gonna be
because like if
beautiful.
if 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 they're really doing this for charity, we're talking about sparring competitions, right? We're
Yeah.
talking about like light sparring. We're not talking about a boxing match.
Yeah.
If Chris Ray Gun and Froggy Fresh
The dude who made
aren't,
that.
dude, if those two are like, if they're really as respectful as they say, they
Yeah.
wouldn't be going to the gym every single day to try and win this thing, right?
Right.
Like you're not walking into a ring being like, I like this dude. He's like, you know, like, and then trying to knock him out cold.
Right.
Because the second you get hit, dude, the second you get hit, you're like, fuck this guy.
So
Right?
have we looked at the card? Like let's do it. Let's do a little tail of the tape. Let's do a card breakdown real quick.
All right, I'm all about this. It's the Creator Clash too.
Yeah.
Did you
So
know also that what's the guy that does the One Bite reviews?
oh, Dave Portnoy,
Barstool. Dave Portnoy apparently has like this amateur boxing
rough and rowdy dude.
There's a dude from my hometown that fights in that, and
Who?
he's a huge bitch. DiCaprio. He got, and that's, it's not Noah. Noah's the huge one. Noah's the huge steroid out freak. DiCaprio.
All right,
He
so
got banned from Facebook.
all right, so here's the full lineup. You have Jack Manifold versus Dakota Olave. I don't know who that is. You have Fitz versus I Did a Thing. You have Jaya Relay versus Albelina Sabrina. Dad versus AB, which okay. Leonhart versus Crank Gameplays. Mika versus
The
Alana
fuck?
Pierce. Is that Mika from like Rooster Teeth?
Maybe?
Yeah.
Never heard of her.
Aaron Hansen versus Jarvis Johnson. Myth versus Hundar. Haley Sharp versus Marisha Ray. Froggy Fresh versus Chris Raygun. John Randall Hennigan versus Harley Morenstein. iDubbbz versus Alex Wasabi. So Mark. So it's gonna be hosted by Markiplier. Jack.
The announcer lineup is like fantastic, dude.
Jack.
Moist Critical as an announcer. Oh.
Yeah. Amaranth interviews. Super Mega National Anthem. Akinola Yavaris ring announcer. Moist Critical commentary. Tony Jeffries, Wade Plemons commentary.
S-Fan doing pre-fight interviews is great too, because he does actually like World of Warcraft pre-fight interviews. A lot of these, listen, all right.
I've never heard of any of these people besides like a couple of them.
I don't know who Alex Wasabi is, but iDubbbz is probably going to crush him. I don't know who John Randall Hennigan is. I know Harley Morenstein fought in the last Creator Clash. I don't know who these other two guys.
John Randall
Fitz
Hennigan
and I Did a Thing.
I think John Randall Hennigan is John Morrison from the WWE.
Froggy Fresh versus Chris Raygun.
I think Chris loses.
Fantastic, interesting matchup because Chris is tall and lanky, and Froggy Fresh is like this tiny, shredded dude. I actually sent Chris a Twitter DM with some advice for his first fight. I said the lights are going to be way hotter than you think they're going to be, and to wear your shoes the night before to see how they shift under your feet. So he didn't respond to me, but I was like, I wish someone had told me different things like that. Now granted, I never fought in a boxing competition, but I think Chris gets it done. Actually,
I think Chris loses.
It depends on who's training him, right? I wish I knew who Chris's boxing coach was, because Chris has a lot of reach on Froggy Fresh, and I know he's been working out a lot, and I'm really interested because reach means a lot in boxing.
Yeah.
That being said, dude, this Froggy Fresh guy is like he's always been shredded, always. I think Marisha Ray beats up this Haley Sharp girl. Marisha Ray has been like a long time martial artist. Um, who else do I know? I think Alana Pierce beats the shit out of that Micah girl. Alana Pierce strikes me as someone who's like a chick who just like has some strength behind her. I don't know why I get that vibe, but I also just realized they're fighting at 165. That's that can't be right. There's no way Alana Pierce weighs 165, dude. What is that scary MMA girls champion weigh? You know
What?
what I'm talking about?
Cyborg?
Yeah, what does Cyborg fight at?
I think somewhere around there.
MMA Cyborg. Chris Cyborg.
Yeah.
I swear to God, she fought at 145.
She fights at 145. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So Alana Pierce versus Micah, they're at 165 pound division.
No way.
No way. There's no way, dude.
Yeah,
unless the idea,
ladies.
unless the idea is like they're just not cutting weight at all.
Yeah, I think the idea is they're not cutting weight. There's no way both of them tricks are 165, bigger than Chris Cyborg.
Yeah.
But it's awesome to think about.
And by the way, Amanda Nunes, probably the greatest female MMA fighter of all time, one of them at least, also fights at 145.
Yeah, that's gotta be a catch weight. No way.
I don't know, man. Like, what is going on here? I don't know.
No, because both of them would be going to the ring thick. Like, no way.
Well, Amanda Nunes,
they're fighting at a bigger weight class than Chris and the other dude.
Yeah. No. So Amanda Nunes originally won her championship at 135, then became a double champion at 145. So Amanda Nunes got her fame at 135. There's no way. There's something weird going on with the weights here.
Yeah, no way. There's no way. But that's fun to think about.
What if Alana Pierce walks down that stage and she's just clearly been roiding out for like
awesome
the last 6 weeks, and she just
just straight like Uber him.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God, one of the greatest MMA characters of all time.
Just roid it out.
One of the greatest. I don't know. I think this is gonna be fun. I'll buy it and watch it. I really want to see Chris Ray Gunn compete. I'm. This is so fascinating to me, right? Like this new era of like celebrity boxing. Yeah, I do actually. This new era of celebrity boxing is so fascinating to me because you get people with a lot of money.
Yeah,
you get people with a lot of money who go to a boxing gym for 6 weeks.
Yeah,
and they're like, all right, let's just throw them in the ring and pretend it's a professional bout. Like, I think it's the most interesting that boxing has been in 10 years.
It's sad but funny.
Yeah, and you know what? This is because of Jake Paul. Let's be honest. Let's be straight here, right? Jake Paul started this.
Yep, Jake and Logan.
What a weird, amazing time we live in.
I mean, like, everyone hates those two, but like, respect. Like, these two literally made how much money off boxing right now? Like,
yeah. And the Creator Clash is for charity, right?
Yeah. So think about those guys for profit. He fought fucking Logan Paul fought Floyd Mayweather. Like, what?
Yeah. So just to throw it back to your previous question, I'm pretty sure the guy from my hometown that fights in that Dave Portnoy's boxing
rough and rowdy.
I'm pretty sure his name is Noah DiCaprio, and he's like the most annoying, huge.
Never heard of him.
Pussy. Yeah. Anyway. So Creator Clash.
Yeah.
April 15th.
Check it out. Down. I'm in. All right. So moving right along here as we start winding this puppy down. A couple other misconducts. GameStop. We're not going to spend a ton of time on you. Quit shipping things fucked up. Like I recently watched a Matty Plays video where he did a GameStop box, and they shipped him like a couple games that were just missing the disc. They shipped him another game that was just like covered in man juice. Like, I don't know what the hell that was. It was just, like it just.
They've given up.
Yeah, like, dude, like, come on. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
It's over.
And then Moving on, we have people accusing YouTubers of clickbaiting, which I think is the dumbest thing you could fucking do. Because like whenever you do the YouTube, like you make a clip or you make a thumbnail, you give it a good title, like the idea is to get people to click on it. So like I don't know, like I think the stuff that's like egregious, we're like, oh, instead of tits click on this video, like the stupid shit like that. But like to say, like if you and I, like some of the highest views we've done are when we've talked about hot topics in the games industry, so naturally like those are going to get more views than, like, let's say when we talked about Trails of Cold Steel 4, which a whopping 8 people looked at. So it's like, we know these things going in, like we're not dumb, like we're like, and I don't think there's very few YouTubers who I think are like legitimately dumb, or at least don't have somebody around them be like, yeah, that's probably not going to video that's going to do well, especially if you're doing something like this for a living. But to sit there and be like, oh, you're just a clickbaiter. Did you click on the video, asshole? Huh? Then
Mhm.
then they got what you wanted. So, or you gave them what they wanted, so they don't necessarily care about what your opinion is. So if you're in the comments, like, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't be a dick. Like, don't be like, oh, this is just a clickbaity video. It's people trying to generate content, generate traffic. It's kind of the way the game works. Like, if you're not interested in what they have to say, don't click on the video. If the thumbnail does not interest you, if the title does not tickle your fancy, don't click on it. Don't then click on it and just be negative. Like, people, I just can't.
I've seen
But
people coming at Mr. Matty Plays for this recently.
yeah, like for what?
I think this is interesting topic because we've all been clickbaited, and I don't think, like, for instance, I don't think Mr. Matty Plays is clickbaiting. Right?
No,
I don't think that's happening. But people hate it so much that anytime they even get a whiff of something like that happening, they're like, we got to shut this shit down
right?
now. It's like being advertised to, right?
Yeah,
It's like anytime. Do you remember when in Street Fighter Five they were going to start putting advertisements in between like matches and stuff like
yeah. That
that?
should. Whoop.
Yeah, it's a sort of situation like that where like we are shutting this ship down. Fuck you. We don't want any of this, right? And I can kind of sympathize with that because clickbait was a
Clickbait
real
sucks.
issue
Yeah,
on YouTube a while back. Nowadays, it's not so much of an issue because of the way they changed the algorithm to um, prioritize watch time instead of views and like likes and stuff like that. Because it used to be just like the higher your view count and likes got, the higher you were up in the priority of the algorithm, right?
yeah.
Well, now you actually have to have people
Like watching your
sitting
shit.
there
Yeah.
watching your video. Yeah, it
So that's where
has to be
clips
like
came from. That makes sense.
yeah, yeah. So that's why clickbait isn't really a thing as much as it used to be 5 years ago.
Yeah. So again, people, don't be dicks. Like, just don't be a dick. That's all I could say. So
Okay.
last thing on the misconduct list. This is a special shout out to my boy Roy Dennis here, one of the bigger Pokemon fans that I know. So I was just perusing YouTube the one day, and an old YouTuber I used to follow called, I think it's Verisafly. I can never pronounce his goddamn name, but he is always outing people for cheating in Pokemon. And what he what he recently just posted a video about was like they did free hack checks on the most recent like Pokemon World Championships, and I think it
Mhm.
was like over 80% of the teams had hacked Pokemon. So
I mean,
like let's break that down. So here's where my issue with this is, and these are grown adults
uh-huh.
hacking a child's game in order to gain an edge in competition to win real prize money. Like, no, notice there's never any like teenagers that win at these Pokemon Worlds. It's always like grown ass, sweaty adults, and now they're using
Well,
hacked Pokemon.
trying
Like,
to
come
figure
on.
out how I feel. I'm trying to figure out how I feel about this because there's such a meta level that's competitive to Pokemon battling
Yes.
that I don't know that it matters to a certain extent because you can spend 30 hours breeding the perfect Pokemon with perfect stats and and with the perfect move set and raise it to level 100 or whatever, or you could just put that Pokemon in your game. It's not going to change your strategy coming into the actual thing, the competition. And I think I saw a statistic that a perfect Pokemon is only like 20% stronger than um the worst like Pokemon that you can get in terms of like stats and IVs and PVs, and obviously not including moves, but that 20% gap can be cleared pretty easily with a good strategy, a good or bad strategy. So I don't know that I really care so much that they're hacked Pokemon, and as long as they're within the rules of the game. As long as you're not giving them like stats that are overloaded or moves that are not available to them normally.
So where people were getting themselves jammed up, from what I gathered, was that like the move PP up, right? Like where you could get like
Mhm.
more. So a lot of these Pokemon were coming in with max IVs, perfect, perfect natures, and then like max PP on everything. Where like to get the amount of max PPs to have your entire team do that is like in the in-game currency, it's like millions of dollars. It's like a stupid amount of
Yes.
money. So and they were looking at these people's game counters, and like the math wasn't adding up. So like
Okay, I
shit,
see.
so like shit like that, or like perfect EV Pokemon that are shiny, like shit that just shouldn't happen
Yeah.
is now being allowed to happen in that community. So like that's essentially what we've been gathering, and it's every single year there's like a champion who gets outed for cheating, and then nothing ever happens to them. It's like Pokemon. It's like the Pokemon companies like just turn the blind eye to it.
Well, they pretty much do that no matter what for anything anyway, right? Like
Yeah,
that's pretty much that's. I mean, like when's the last time the Pokemon company fixed anything in their games?
never.
That being that being said, um, I don't know. I think if you're gonna have a Pokemon competition, it should be stadium style, right?
Yeah,
Like you all pick from the same pool, and you know these are the Pokemon you choose from. You can have all 1,020 or whatever it is now Pokemon in that pool, but to bring in personal monsters, you're just opening that up to exploitation, and people are going to do that. The PP up thing, I can see where that's an issue because that's definitely a strategy altering thing, 100%. Where like you're not going to run out of a move, so
right.
I get that.
Yeah, I mean, granted, the Pokemon metagame's brutal anymore. It's all like one shot fest. Like I can't tell
Well,
you a lot.
also, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, you're good.
I was just gonna say, anytime there's like a really powerful new Pokemon that's been developed by Game Freak,
They nerf it.
they ban it. They ban
Yeah,
it instead of allowing the meta to naturally evolve over
yeah, just
time.
ban it.
Like
Yeah,
they just ban it. It's so stupid.
yeah,
Like, and dude, immediately in like the first 2 weeks of Scarlet and Violet being out, they banned like 6 Pokemon.
yeah. They're
It's
like, yeah,
like,
no,
okay, well,
no, no, fuck
you
it.
didn't even give like the competitors a chance to like figure out a strategy against it. It's dumb.
Yeah.
That's why I don't get into competitive Pokemon.
Neither do I, dude. Like that meta's so ruined and broken and dumb. Like I feel like as we get older, things just get ruined. Like we just don't like it
Oh yeah.
anymore. Like yeah, fuck this. So moving, yeah, like, just moving right along. So, um, getting into some free shit for all you broke boys out there. Hashtag broke boy status. Uh, coming to the Epic Game Store, you have City of Gangsters, Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, which is a really good DLC. So those of you who are Dishonored fans, definitely check that out. And then Recipe for Disaster, which I've never heard of. So yeah, take that. And then on the Amazon Game Store or Prime Gaming, whatever you want to call it, you have Onsen Master, and then here comes the Metal Slug, like the SNK loves. You have Metal Slug, The Last Blade 2, King of Fighters '03, Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, and the SNK 40th Anniversary Collection. So a lot of really good SNK stuff. I also feel it's because SNK is now Saudi owned and like they're trying to get people not to hate them. So like, hey, here's all this free shit. Which I love SNK. I mean, I try to eliminate the political stuff with it. But that's a lot of really good SNK stuff for free. And then here's the weird one: Elder Scrolls 3: The Morrowind Game of the Year edition.
Ew, God, people are gonna hate that.
Like, why is that there? Why?
I don't know. I mean, people have a lot of nostalgia for Morrowind. They forget like how brutal that game is.
Is that even going to
For,
run on modern PCs? Like, is that even?
I don't know. It might not, to be honest with you, because I had trouble getting Fallout New Vegas to run for a while. But dude, if people haven't played Morrowind previously and don't know what they're expecting, they're not gonna like that game. That
No,
is a game that has not aged well. For its time, it
no,
was a phenomenal game. But nowadays, dude, there's no quest tracking.
no.
There's you know what you get? Oh, there's this book inside a dwarven ruin, and it's you go down this road and you take a left at the stop sign or the road sign, and then you walk past a giant boulder, and past that giant boulder to the left there's a fern, and under that fern is a dungeon,
Yeah,
and that book is somewhere in this 57-story dungeon. Search every shelf and
yeah,
find it, and
yeah.
if it's not the right book, you're not going to know until you bring it back to me.
Right. Dude, and like I remember Morrowind like ruled on Xbox. I remember that like when I had an Xbox, like that was the shit right there. Like, I was like, yo, like
Yeah.
you have Final Fantasy, I have Morrowind. Like, what's up? But like, yeah, I saw that on the list. I was like, what the? Like, is this optimized? Like, or somebody was just like, yep, that. So yeah, again, so for all you broke boys out there, there's some free stuff for you. So in closing, sir, was there anything you wanted to get off your chest? Anything you wanted to put out into the ethos that we call the internet?
No, I don't think so, man. I feel like I've gotten a lot off my chest tonight.
It's good. It's good. I
Um,
like to hear that.
we got. We had a lot to talk about. We got a lot of
Yeah.
business to fucking handle.
Yeah, because I still feel like you want to be woke or you're gonna get slept. That's how I feel about you right now.
We got to start doing it at some point. Might as well just start now.
Yeah. So I would like to do a follow up show like next week about the Nintendo Direct. Hopefully, there's some good announcements. We're gonna be covering Creator Clash, so that's gonna be a blast. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I think we should do something special for Creator Clash.
Yeah, boy.
I think so.
Yeah, we do like a live stream. We're fucking commentating. Like,
Yeah, I think so. I think do like a fight companion like Rogan does, but for Creator
yes,
Clash.
that's a great fucking idea.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
like
if
that.
I don't know if anyone else is doing that. So yeah, we can definitely do that. So a couple housekeeping things. We ran into an issue with getting our podcast hosted on like Podbean and all that fun stuff. So once we get that rectified, I'll make an announcement on the Facebook page and direct everyone to that info. We still have our guests lined up. We just with life updates and just things being crazy, my schedule's been a little nuts. So like trying to get lined up and getting people scheduled and when we're going to do the show. So stay tuned for that. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Smash that like button. Shout out to Shanner64. And
Smash.
yeah, smash it. Smash it like you're going to smash a pumpkin. And remember, when in doubt, square up, throw down.
See you guys
Yeah.
later.
Toodles.